What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the NH Experience. And on today's show, I have a special guest. This man speaks on the ones and twos, but he definitely has a powerful voice beyond the world of music, sports, and pop culture. You've seen him all around Southern California. He's been featured a few times in the Los Angeles Times, one of the biggest publications in the country, along with some other accolades that we'll get into later on. We'll talk about his journey and where he is now. He is the one and only. Please give a round of applause to the one and only, the man himself, DJ Malski. What's going on, man?
Hey, I like it. That was a great intro, bro. That intro was great, man.
I
Come on.
appreciate it, man.
That intro
Hey,
was
man.
dope.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. I know you're a busy man around these parts these days, especially in spite of everything going on with COVID-19, but you're still making your rounds. You're still making your name great out there in these streets. So,
Yeah.
uh, well, first and foremost, man, let's get a little bit into your journey because I always want to talk about how you got to being DJ Malski. What was it like growing up for you? I know you're a SoCal native. What was it like growing up for you at an early age, and at what point did you realize, okay, DJing, music, entertainment is the route that I want to go?
Well, I'm born and raised in Long Beach, but half of my life spent in Long Beach, half of my life spent in the Inland Empire in Rialto. So I started off in Long Beach. My father is a street dude from Long Beach. You know, people pretty much
Right on.
kind of know who he is. You know, but he would throw these parties every Friday, and so I started off at 7 years old, and it started off with "Don't let the record stop." If you know anything about that, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like, you gotta be old enough to know what it feels like when a needle gets to the end of a record. You gotta like flip it, figure out another record, do all this other stuff. But it started out with that, man, and it went from playing records at my father's parties to a bunch of celebrities and artists coming by and giving me tips to play their songs at these parties. And then it just grew. My first ever gig was with Barry White. Shout out to Shanice
Whoa.
Wilson. She was actually there. Barry had a lot to do with Shanice getting signed and all that at the time. But that was my first ever DJ gig. My second was with Eazy-E, and yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, it goes back. They both gave me $100 a piece, you know.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, so and then what ended up happening was as rappers got famous, everybody wanted to rap, and I kind of transitioned into wanting to rap. I ended up doing a deal in the sixth grade with Motown, doing a little, a rapper deal, a little, whatever deal that didn't really work out. Ended up going on tour, and my mother, because of my grades and everything, ended up snatching me off of the tour, bro.
Oh.
Off the tour because of my grades. And when I came home, like everything was real hot for my father, and so I literally had to move to the IE and live with my mother, and it was a huge shift, huge shift. So kept rapping, kept trying to make music, kept DJing, and that's the start. That's the start of it.
So we can actually credit your dad for getting you on that path of DJing at least. And who
Yep.
were some of the celebrities that gave you the advice when you were young that you still take with you to this day?
Well, I mean, there were a lot of Lakers around. Michael Cooper in the eight. This was Laker. This is Mike. This is the Coop the Luke time right here. Michael Cooper used to come to the crib and to those parties, and he say, you could do anything. And it's funny that when he was coaching at SC, I almost started DJing at SC with him, which is full circle crazy. But some of the celebrities then, I don't want to throw a bunch of street dudes out there, but
Right, right.
a lot of some, the a lot of some street dudes was giving me money, buying me stuff, helping me get gear, so
And that's where I
that's
mean, you
kind
know
of how it
what? But in
started.
in hip hop, period, though, man, that's where it started, man. It started from the streets. A lot of guys that saw cats with potential, rather. Investing time into them, investing wisdom into them, sometimes money. Um,
Mhm.
I think a lot of cats, that's how they got started, and then they were able to venture out and really do some great things and really
Mhm.
kind of pay it forward. later on. So that's great that you were able to soak up some of that advice, no matter who it came from,
Mhm.
where it helped you and propelled you to where you are now.
Mhm.
I know it's funny you talk about Eazy-E and you being from Long Beach, and you know that whole issue in the '90s between Death Row and Ruthless
Mhm.
Records in Long Beach and
Mhm.
Compton. So
Mhm.
how was that situation?
Well, my father, my father is from a Crip neighborhood, all Crip. I mean, it's all Crips in Long
Yeah,
Beach,
that's all
but
Long Beach. Yeah,
yeah, it's all Crips in Long Beach. And so there was certain parts of Compton that we couldn't go to that was off limits, but
right.
there was some parts of Compton that was okay to go to. And so where he had me DJing, it was for these kids, and it was in a
Hmm.
side of the neighborhood that was okay for us to go to. Of course, my pop sent me with a couple goons.
Oh yeah.
I was a kid. He sent me with a couple goons, but it went off good, man. It's crazy. I remember you remember you don't know anything about Kenwood house speakers though. Setting up
Oh, I
Kenwood
do.
house speakers outside,
Oh, I
running
do.
speaker wire, setting up
Flyer
the
through
amp
the
under the table. Come on, man. It was one of
bro.
those gigs, bruh. It was one of those gigs,
Bro, my uncle
bruh.
who's also from Long Beach, because half my family's from Long Beach, right? So
Oh, salute. Okay.
my uncle, my big uncle, used
Mhm.
to be down on a particular street,
Mhm.
and let's just say if you from the east side of Long Beach, there used to be a pink apartment building on a particular street. Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
so I say that to say my uncle used to expose me to a lot of different things when I was young. So and speaker equipment,
Uh-huh.
because he used to have like Elcos. He still does have
Yep.
lowriders and stuff like that. So guys are serious about their beat as well as they're about
Yes.
their cars.
Yes.
You see big dudes carrying big Kenwood speakers. I mean, going to the swap meet, wherever they need
Yep.
to go to make sure they run that
Mhm.
wire through, flawlessly. That's what
Mhm.
they did. So
Mhm.
I know
Mhm.
exactly what you mean.
Mhm. Mhm. It was one of them. So salute to my fam. It was that was a great time. And I really wasn't. It, you know, I didn't even really know what a DJ was until
Hmm.
I got a chance to see. Salute to the mix master Tony G, man. Salute
Yes.
to Tony G. Tony G was the first DJ I saw in person, and he
Mm.
let me stand there and watch him. And man, salute to Tony G. If there was no Tony G, there'd be no DJ Malski. So salute to him. But I didn't really know about the art of
Hmm.
DJing until I, got a chance to see Tony G. And then after that, it was like, oh, wait, you can do all that? Oh, and then my pops took me to the infamous Fresh Fest at the Pike, the Long Beach, at the downtown. Yes, yes. I was a kid with my father at the infamous. See, everybody talks about Long Beach, right? People don't know that Long Beach didn't get, like, I don't want to say credit everywhere else, but Long Beach didn't really get credit for for having real. Can I say? No, I can't say that. Can I say
Real
niggas?
cats. Real
Real
cats.
dudes? Okay. Yeah, Long Beach didn't get credit for having real dudes, real hoods until one particular event.
Mm-hmm.
And that Fresh Fest happened in Long Beach at the convention
Convention
center.
center.
Yep, and I was there as a kid, man. I was there
Wow.
with my father. I got a chance to
Wow.
see Jam Master Jay set up his turntables, stood right there and watched him.
Ooh.
And my dad was like, "You sure you want to do this?" Like my dad, he didn't really want me to do it. Are you sure you want to do this? Don't make no money. It's only one of him. Who else are you gonna
Mm-hmm.
like? You got to get in this to get this street, get this money. But I mean, I got a chance to
No,
see that, so
that's dope,
it was
man.
crazy. It was crazy. So.
So how did you, I mean, growing up in Long Beach, obviously moving later on to the Inland Empire, how were you
Mhm.
able to be balanced enough to stay out of the street affairs and still focus on music and DJing?
Well, true story, man. One incident happened one time with my father in these essays, and my father beat up a pair of two essays like really bad in front of me, and it made me see my father in a different light. Most people, you see your dad beat some people up, and you see him, yeah, my dad bigger than yours, my dad stronger than yours. It wasn't like that for me. Like when I saw my dad beat these dudes up, I saw like a beast in him that I didn't want to be. And then what would happen is, you know, as I would get into my little disputes with folks, I would see that a little bit of that beast in me, and I hated it. And so, true story, like I wanted to not be like my father. As a matter of fact, you know, growing up, like my father used to call me, you know, he used to say I was a little pink in the middle. You know what I mean? Well, you could say like, you know, because I didn't really want to do everything that he wanted to do. I didn't want to run his business. I didn't want to be, you know, getting forced to get jumped into something that I didn't run and wear the flag for. You know what I'm saying? Like I really wasn't. I wasn't built like that. I was built for something, you know, different, not greater, but just different. You know, because salute to everybody that's carrying a flag, regardless of what side you're from.
Sure.
But I felt like I was built for something different, and my father used to make fun of me for that. So, you know, he used to call me soft. He used to call me like pink in the middle, you know, like, you know, yada, yada. And I used to always be like, I'm going to prove you wrong. And so, you know, one particular time when I did the Motown deal, I did a show at the Spruce Goose, came back to Long Beach, did a show at the Spruce Goose with Shanice, a girl named Shiro, and somebody else from Motown, somebody else. And my pops pulled up, man, my pops was like, man, I can't believe this has actually happened. This dude is really performing on a show with a bunch of people here, you know. So it became real. But to answer your question, the way I got out of it is I really didn't never want to be in it. I never wanted to be a part of it, you know. And so what happened was when my father, you know, it was a little hot for him at the time, and we moved out, had to move out to the IE. You know, I got adopted by a pastor. I got adopted by who I call dad, the pastor, and you know, he took me and my little brother in, and you know, he became really my dad, you know, and he taught me a lot of things that, you know, about church, about the word, about being a real man. Taught me things about you know, just how to grow up, how to handle responsibility, how not to make excuses. It was just a lot of things he taught. And so that actually anchored me even now for the rest of my life, you know.
Obviously, you know, we see you've toured with some of the biggest names in the music industry. We've seen you with Stevie Wonder. You mentioned Barry White, the legend himself. We talk about Shanice. You talk about a lot of different things that go on, but what are some of the things that you felt like you did to get to that point, that prepared yourself for that point, to be on stage and not really be starstruck, but just still remain professional?
Well, one of the things that I do is I approach every event, no matter who it is, no matter how many people it is, I approach every event the same way. A lot of people don't do that. I approach it whether it's 2 people, 2,000 people, 200,000 people, but I approach it with the same energy, no matter what. And I've seen a lot of my peers, you know, make mistakes by approaching an event with 150 people, and they're like, oh, it's only 150 people, but then they're in front of 10,000. Oh, I gotta. It's like, nah, man, they're the same thing. And so one of the things that helped me get to where I've been is that, man. You know, I mean, the way I've gotten to some of these heights is specifically people saw me in places where I shouldn't have been going hard, and I went hard. Like people saw me in places where, you know, small places. Like, for example, Penny Toller saw, and I know we're gonna get to this, but I was at CSUN doing a women's basketball game during Thanksgiving weekend. Yeah, it was probably 65 people total, including players in the gym. And I was DJing like it was 6,500 people in the gym. And Penny Toller was in the audience and ended up literally sending her guy, Thomas, over to come get me. Like, hey, go give him my information and tell him I want to hire him. What? Most guys in my situation, when it's 65 people in a gym, you're not even going hard. You're just pressing play, sitting down on your phone, doing whatever, you know. But I went so
Right.
tough that and that's happened for every situation that I've encountered. But that's like the secret sauce, man. To always just go hard, go tough, no matter who's there, no matter how many people are there. You know what I'm saying? So that's been the key for me.
How did you, at what point did you find that type of discipline and that type of structure as far as you, like you said, whether it's 65 or 65,000?
Well, so when I moved out to the IE, I encountered through a church. I started going to a church,
Mhm.
a youth night, and stuff like that. And I met the Avila brothers. I met them and got a chance to get really close to them. And they were like Bobby at the time had already had a deal, had a charting song, and I got a chance to experience how his life was. And these dudes, it was a trip because literally they wake up. Now, me, I wake up, am I playing hoop today? Are we trying to find some girls today? Are we going to make some music today? It was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. These dudes would literally wake up every day to do music. Nothing else mattered in the world but doing music to them. And I saw that discipline and I'm like, yo, that's crazy. That's so crazy. Then what took it over the top later on, well, I mean, it was a little later on, but we went to Minneapolis to work with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and I met Stokely.
Whoa.
And while we were there, we stayed there 3 months in Minneapolis, and I met Stokely from Mint Condition. And in those 3 months, it was a tough time for me, but I got to see Stokely in huge venues and in small venues. And if you know anything about Stokely, how great of a singer he is, shout out to my brother Stokely. This dude would give the same show no matter where he was. Man, we went into this little underground spot. It was probably 18 people in there, man. 18, including us. So without us, 16. Like, hardly nobody in there. This dude got on the stage, and when I tell you he killed it, like as if it was 18,000 people, he killed it. And I'm thinking in my mind, why is he going so tough? Like, my family isn't here. My intermediate family is, But that also taught me something as well that, like, no matter who you are and where you are, you got to go give it all the time.
So talk to me a little bit. I mean, we know you DJ for USC for their
Mm-hmm.
athletic department. You DJ for obviously CSUN, Cal State Northridge.
Mm-hmm.
We see you with the Rams now. You've done some things with the LA Sparks, DJing for
Mm-hmm.
them. We've seen you do some Laker events.
Mm-hmm.
How did that all come about? How did you get to a point where you're able to DJ for all of those sports entities?
So it started like this. I was producing. I was rapping. I had done a deal with Hidden Beach, and at the time they had lost their distribution deal. This is me as a rapper, Jamal. Did an album called Soul Therapy. Look that up. Song called Oh No on there. You know what I'm saying? It's true story. But anyway, I did the deal didn't. Everything fell apart because they lost their distribution deal, and I had gone through two other deals. And shout out to Kenny Lattimore, who was managing me at the time. It just got really hard for me. And Kenny was like, just be encouraged, just trying to encourage me to just stay in it, just stay focused, stay with it. And so Kenny introduced me to, he introduced me to somebody that I had known before as a child, but he introduced me to Frank and Bunny Wilson. Frank Wilson was a pastor at a church at the time. His wife, Bunny Wilson, both acclaimed authors, but Frank Wilson is a producer, a music producer who was at Motown for 31 years. We had met during my time at Motown and chatted briefly, but here we were introduced, and Kenny introduced me to him, and I literally submitted myself to him as a mentor, and then eventually joined his church, got under his ministry, and literally was following him and being led by him daily because he just meant that much to me. And so while Frank was counseling me at one point, he's like, just put it all out there, man. What do you want to do? What exactly do you want to do? What do you love? And I was like, women. He was like, all right.
Exactly.
I was like, we're gonna handle that. Like, what else do you love? I'm like, sports and music. Like, how can I do them both? And he's sitting there and he goes, you know what? Why don't you just invite all the athletes to your events and let it be all athletes at your events? Or why don't you just go DJ at their games? And I was like, whew, light bulb, ping, does this exist? So I did my research, and at the time, DJ Dents was in his second year at the Clippers. So it did exist. So I reached out to the big homie Dents, reached out to a couple other people, and just to do my research on it. And I was trying to figure out how to get in. How about this? How about Frank Wilson's son-in-law was a coach the head coach at Alemany High School. So Frank goes, why don't you call Trey and see if he could DJ this game? Beep, boop, 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 beep, beep, beep. Hey, man, can I DJ at your game? Yeah, we got one Friday. Pull up. Okay. Now, I had never DJed a game before. I got there. I did the game. I learned everything, and then it was like, from then on, the very next time I brought an artist, and the turnout was, we had 2,000 kids in the gym on my second game. And in that second game, Coach Bobby Braswell, who was the coach at Cal State Northridge, was there recruiting a player for Alemany. Now, he comes in like, I don't understand how this gym has 2,000 students and me at Northridge can't get 200. So whatever you're doing here, come and do it at Cal State Northridge. So then my next chapter was at Cal State Northridge. Boom. I take 2 years, build Cal State Northridge up. They go up 60%, 60% increase in attendance. And the only difference was me. Yeah, it was crazy. While I'm there, I'm doing a girls' game. It's almost 1,000 people in there for a girls' game. A CSUN girls' game against USC. And the associate athletic director was there. He saw me going tough. We ended up beating them on a last-second free throw. And it's so funny. I remember it. I can give you details. I don't want to bore you with the details, but it was a crazy game. And as soon as the game was over, he walks over and he says, whenever you're not working here, I want you at USC with us. Okay? Keep going. Now, I got the USC gig. I'm thinking it's going to lead to something. CSUN is still intact. The next year, during Thanksgiving weekend, it's just a girls tournament. CSUN is playing Penn State, and Penny Toller is coming to recruit a player from Penn State to try to draft in the upcoming draft for the Sparks. And like I told you, it was all of nobody in that gym. There were probably 5 people, maybe 10 people in the gym that were not players or parents of players. It was nobody. That's how when Penny walked in, I was like, ooh, that's a fine black woman right there. Whoever that is, she must be a coach. I didn't even know who she was, But the reason I knew I could see, because there was nobody else in the gym. She sends her assistant Thomas over to tell me, look, here, take my card. No, first she sent him over to get my card. Then he comes back. He said, she wants me to give you her card and said, call her tomorrow morning. Okay. We want you to work for us. There's no audition. There's none of that. And this is the executive vice president at the time, So then while I'm doing the Sparks, a young lady named Tiffany from the Rams, shout out to Tiffany.
Shout out to her. Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to Tiffany. Tiffany comes to a Sparks, so I'm doing the Sparks now. Sparks get a 30% increase. 30% increase in ticket sales. 30% without winning. Only difference was adding a show. Added me and a host, CJ Simpson, at the time. And so 30% ticket increase and attendance. And while doing a Sparks game, in the middle of doing Sparks games, while doing a Sparks game, the Rams decide to move to Los Angeles. And Tiffany, who was working for the Rams, comes to LA. She's scouting places. She's getting everything together. And Christina, who was working with MJE at the time, invites her to a Sparks game. Comes to a Sparks game, and I'm going all the way off as usual at the Sparks game. And just like that, she says, "Hey, I want to introduce you to Chris Slope Capura, who's one who handles everything that we do in game. I'm gonna tell him you're our guy. Here, I'm gonna send him an email, put you on email, blah blah blah. Next thing you know, Rams move here. I'm DJing for the Rams, you know. And so in the midst of that, let me go back. While I'm at SC, because something happened at SC too. While I'm at SC, I'm doing an SC girls game against Oregon. And in walks Kobe Bryant. I was like, no. Back up before that. I'm doing a Sparks game. My first season as a Sparks game, as a Sparks DJ. Kobe is in the midst of having an incredible season at the time. He comes to the game, brings his daughter to the game, and sits courtside. I have the game going. Chris Paul was there at the same time. Jamie Foxx was there that game as well.
Yeah, it was star-studded. I remember that.
And that was the first game he had come to a Sparks game. And during the middle of a halftime performance, he comes over and he says, "Hey, why we don't have you?" And I was like, "Well, if anybody can make that happen, you can." What you want to do? He was like, "I got you. I'm gonna make it happen." He didn't make it happen. So fast forward, I'm doing a USC Trojans, a women's basketball game against Oregon. In walks Kobe Bryant with his daughter, who's playing volleyball at the time, interested in trying to see, you know, yada yada. "What's up, bro?" I'm like, "Man, you talked all that mess, man." He's like, "Rob didn't call you? Rob didn't? God, man, you know he didn't call me, man. Cole, why you acting like this?" He's like, "I got you. I'll text you later, and I'll tell you when I call him." He didn't call. And then I text him. He was like, "My bad. He's going through some stuff." Man, come on, man. You ain't got to play me like that. So fast forward, we keep going. I see him in a lot of things. So we're at BET, and I'm doing a coke stage at BET. I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm doing a coke stage at BET, and which was something else that, you know, it was something I had to build. You know, the BET experience was creative, was great, but doing a stage in there is it's a tough job. You know, you got to build the crowd and build the momentum. And so I'm doing that. And that year, Kobe is doing a Genius Talks. In walks Kobe. "What's up, bro? Hey, I got you this year." And he gives me a secret. It's going to be my last year anyway. Whoa, wait, what? Don't tell nobody. I can't hold this secret. Like, what? No. Anyway, he tried to get me in. The person who was over in game at the time, this young lady, we had a situation. She had come to something that I had done, and I did something that she deemed was inappropriate while DJing. And she's like, "I don't want him." All right, cool. So we get down to Kobe's last game, and Kobe's like, season goes through, we get down to Kobe's last game, and he's like, "You got to be there. I want you to do something," you know? So I ended up DJing, you know, the big fan fest outside, 70,000, 100,000, whatever they said, 1,000 people. I got pictures. I should pop a picture up for you real quick. But yeah, so I ended up doing that, and we ended up getting close, a lot closer after that. As you know, his girls were growing. You know, Natalia was getting into volleyball, trying to figure out where she wanted to go, and you know, Gigi and hooping. You know, she was really getting really good, so she wanted to come to a lot of the SC games, and so, you know, it just continued to grow. So, and we still growing from there, man. We still growing from there. So,
I know you said once in one interview I was watching, you said that you wanted to grow your brand more, and you wanted to add more DJs under your brands to give them the same experiences that you had experienced. Where is that right now, and what sparked you to want to do that? Because, you know, in LA, every DJ wants to be the person, whether it's the man, the woman, whatever it is,
Mhm.
everybody wants to be the person, and it's not too much of the, hey, let's pay it forward, let me open some doors to help you get on. What made you
Mhm.
want to do that, and where are you with that goal right now?
Well, I'm at 13. I'm at 13 DJs right now. Well, it kind of came to a halt with the pandemic. But here's what happened. So what happened? So I went like this. I went from 175 events, 218 events the next year, 246 the next year, 292 the next year. So that the year I did 292 events in 365 days, I was like, I have to start giving these gigs away to other people. I have to start. I can, and then there would be events that I couldn't say no to. Like there'd be an event where somebody would be like, "Yo, I just need you to DJ for 2 hours for $2,000," and it's like, "Yo, I'm not available because I'm already committed, but I'm not passing up that money. Like I'm gonna give that to somebody that I believe in, somebody I care about, somebody that I think has potential." And that's kind of how it started. So it started off with, let me pour into somebody who I think is blessed, is talented, who just doesn't have the right opportunities. Because, you know, here's the thing in the corporate world, I'm sure you know this, in the corporate world, they don't exist like the club world, right? In the club world, it's a promoter. You get in with a promoter, wherever he promotes, that's where you DJ. He's gonna throw you $300, $500, $700 at the good clubs. Like, and it doesn't really work like that in corporate world. In corporate world, you know, first of all, the budgets are dependable, but they, you know, it just works in a different way. And I've come to understand how that way works and how to get in these lanes. And there are a lot of talented, gifted DJs who have yet to understand how it works. They got the ability, they got the talent, they got the charisma, they have the look, but they don't understand how to work in a room. They think I go get a manager and he go do it or she go do it. That's not the answer either, you know, because a lot of times in these corporate world, they want to see your personality in person before they spend a bunch of money and put you in front of their demographic, you know. And so, in that sense, I was like, I want to bless some people and help grow some people. And so, it started out with like 4 or 5 DJs. I would start with the number one, who's the closest to where I'm at, have them do it. Then the next, and then it was 4. And then there was one weekend where all 4 of those DJs were booked, including and me, and 2 more opportunities came. And it was like, I need 2 more DJs. It was like, ah. And so I was like, you know what, man, I really want to just create a whole company of and grant opportunities, you know, to a lot of DJs. So then I started doing some studying on some people. Salute to Sujit from Scam Artist Management. This guy named Sujit, he's a genius in so many ways, but he created an agency of sorts, agency management company, and he started with one DJ and built it based on his resources of entertainment venues. He built and his relationships. He built this company where he could send DJs around to all of these outlets, right? And it just kept growing and growing and growing. And I just studied his, you know, I studied the way he did it, studied from afar, you know, how he did it. And I just imagine myself doing the same thing in the lanes of the sports and entertainment world. Simultaneously, I developed relationships with 11 Division I colleges that all trust me to provide them with DJs for all athletic events or school-sponsored events. So I was like, why not? Why not do it the same way? Take his format and impart it into my own life, you know. So salute to Sujit, even though I don't know you, but salute to him, you know.
I
You
know
good?
you DJing with the Rams. That
Mm-hmm.
has to be an experience all its own. Talk to us a little bit about SoFi, and also there was a particular quarterback that called you out this season, all in fun, of course. And we're talking about Jared Goff. What was that like
My
to even?
quarterback, my quarterback called me out as he should. Let me say it like that. It's
Oh, okay,
okay for my quarterback, the leader of my team, to call me out. That's okay. That's what he's
all right.
supposed to do, right? That's what he's
Hey,
supposed to
listen.
do.
I was actually on that call. And so when
Uh-huh.
we asked him about it, it was funny. I hurry up and tweeted it out. I'm like, oh yeah, Malski's gonna get a kick out of this. That's why I added you on the
Yeah.
tweet because I'm saying, okay,
Yeah.
he'll get a hold of it in a few hours. It'll spread. But
Yeah. Salute to the cap,
yo,
Jared Goff,
salute,
man.
yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Salute to Jared Goff and
Yeah.
all the great work he's done, even off
Hmm.
the field,
Yeah.
throughout the various cities in LA and even the Rams
Hmm.
organization. But talk to
Hmm.
us about what was it like the first time you entered SoFi Stadium, the $5 billion playpen, and this was the first game of the year. You were setting up your equipment. Walk us through that moment.
Whew, bruh. First of all, before you even got in the park, before you even got 200 feet from the building, you got temperature check, you had two ID checks, and then a security check to go around your car and check all that. This is before. Man, I was so nervous. It felt like I was going in the White House or something, like Fort Knox or something. You know what I mean? Like it was crazy. So when I finally got there, I was super nervous. Normally when I'm nervous, I forget stuff. So I was like, please, Lord, don't let me forget nothing. I gotta go through all that security again. And, you know what I mean? Like, please. So I get my stuff out and I'm walking in, and salute to all of the CSC, all of the security guards, all of the guys and girls and women who work, hard at keeping the place safe and clean and taken care of. Salute to them. As I was walking up, two of the people who usually work at the LA Memorial Coliseum were
Mhm.
there. So as I was walking up, it was like, oh, DJ Malski is here. Hey, y'all, DJ Malski is here. Hey! And and it was like 6 or 7 of the security guards that were clapping when I walked up. And man, I just got teary. I just got like emotional. And I just got emotional, man. I start walking up. I start taking my stuff out. I was like, hey, come on, man. You know you ain't got to do through all this. But I was like, man, I just still took my keys, my wallet out. I was like, man, y'all don't know how much this means. It's my first time here. And so it was incredible. As I walked in, when you walk in, you're on level 6, right?
Right.
So you're at the level of the Oculus, right? When you
Hmm.
walk in and you see that, it's unlike anything else you've ever seen. And so that, man, just walking in, seeing that Oculus, seeing all the incredible details of the building. Oh man, it was amazing. And then I set my turntables up. Oh man, I set the tables up, and I got on the comms, and they were like, "All right, are you ready?" And I'm like, they were like, "Yo, it's gonna be the first song ever played in SoFi Stadium. Do you know what you want to play?" Now, no, I wasn't even thinking about it at first. Like, I was like, "Oh, well, what do you?" I'm just, yeah, let's just sound check. Whatever is last in my playlist, I'm gonna play it again. Whatever. And he was like, "This is gonna be the first song ever played in the SoFi Stadium." I said, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, by the first DJ ever in the SoFi Stadium." I said, "Wait, what?" They're like, "So yeah." I said, "Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Can you hold this phone for me? Somebody hold this phone. We got to capture this moment. This is a West Coast moment right here. I'm about to
Oh,
play
for
the
sure.
first song, but and be the first DJ to play the first song in the SoFi Stadium. What could be more West Coast than that?" So I was like, "What am I gonna play? What am I gonna play, man?"
I want you to know that is the first song. Hold on. Get this in here. I want you to see this. Yay!
Ah, I had to salute Dr. Dre, had to salute Snoop, had to salute Tupac, had to throw in that California Love, man. I
Oh
played
yeah.
that California Love, and chills just went through my bones. Like, this is the first song ever played in this stadium. It set the tempo, it set the temperature, it set the plate, the precedent, man. Come on, man. I was like, ooh, this is a moment. I've done a lot of great things in my life, but that was a moment for me. That was a moment,
Oh, that's
So it
big.
was that was a
That's
moment for
big.
me. That was a
That's
moment.
major.
Whew.
I mean, you also not only do you DJ, but you also do some production. You've been in studios with several artists from
Yep.
I know Battle Cat, Glasses Malone, TDE,
Mm-hmm.
Dom Kennedy. I mean, you can name them. We can go through the whole West Coast list. But I noticed you on one particular track recently,
Uh-oh. 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 Uh-oh.
and that
Uh-oh.
was shout out to my man Problem, who dropped another dope record,
Hey!
Coffee and Kush 2. And Keep Your Head Up, which to me is very it's a dope record, but it's a very inspirational record if you listen to the lyrics and how he crafted the lyrics, which I thought was brilliant. But the fact that you're on the talk box
Yes,
telling
sir.
people to keep your head up. Now,
Yes,
how was
sir.
that experience being on the talk box and you got a talented, gifted artist like Problem and the rest of the crew that's in there? I know the Terrence Martins of the world, the Mike and Keys, and everybody contributing to that project.
Man, look, first of all, salute to Problem. Man, listen, hey, let me just make sure you hear me clear. Problem is one of the greats.
Yes,
He's one of
indeed.
the greats. Not good, not mediocre, not pretty good. A great, man. Salute to Problem, man. Yeah, he hit me and was like, yo, I got this idea. Okay, send it to me. Let's do it. And we already been going back and forth on ideas. We already, helped each other on some stuff before. And so I just, he sent the idea. And I said, all right, let's go with it. He hit me back like, I can't believe this is amazing. Let's go. Let's go. I was like, all right, let's go. Let's get it. So, man, salute to Problem for even letting me be a part of that. Salute to Terrence Martin, man. Terrence Martin is another great. He's a great, man. Man,
Yes.
stop skipping over these dudes, man. These guys are amazing. They're legends, man. So, salute to Problem for letting me be a part of that. But yeah, and let me tell you, man, like it's something about the talk box, man. I mean, Roger Troutman made it famous for us. Of course, some guys had it before that, but Roger Troutman made it famous for us. And that sound, it embodies the culture in so much, Salute to the other people that have played it and done it well. Salute to Battle Cat. There's no Battle Cat. There's no DJ Malski without a DJ Battle Cat. I'm telling you. So, man, salute to everybody that's taking on that art, taking it seriously. Salute to Bobby Ross Avila, man, because he helped me tune it initially. So, man, salute to him as well. But yeah, that Problem song, go get that Coffee and Kush 2. Make sure you get that, stream it, buy it, do whatever you need to do.
What is the ultimate pinnacle that you want to reach as far as a DJ and a producer in the music game? Is there like a Vegas run? Is there what's in store for the future of DJ Malski?
Well, the future for me is this. I just want to impact culture. I want to leave an imprint on culture. I think that entertainment has lost a lot of its value. It's become lackluster, and people are okay with, rapping on tracks with their verse already on it. People are okay with not taking their time to actually entertain people. They take the people for granted. Like, oh, they'll be happy if I just pull up. They'll be happy if I'm on a stage. But I'm want to wait. Hold on. I know you could hear that too. You probably was like, it's not like kids in the background. All right. So anyway, end game goal for me is this. I really want to impact culture in any way and all ways possible. I've come to find that entertainers, DJs, producers have some, not all, have lost a little bit of their edge and their killer mentality to entertain, been complacent. You taking crowds for granted, like they supposed to give you an applause just because you stood there, but that's not it. I want to bring entertainment back. I want people to be entertained, to be pushed to feel a certain way. Regardless of where they are when they came in, I want them to feel a certain kind of way when they leave. And so, however that happens, that's the end game goal for me. There's the Olympics coming around. I've had the pleasure to be a part of NBA All-Star games, in NFL Super Bowl. the Masters, and I'd love to be a part of the Olympics. So that's one of the goals. But in essence, impacting culture, man, really impacting it in all ways. Listen, some of the GOATs have come and impacted culture and gone, right? So, I mean, let's say Jam Master Jay first. Jam Master Jay were doing things that nobody had done before. He pioneered an entire lane. He literally was the one of one and created a whole lane of us that followed behind him. Then you have people like the Kid Capri's of the world. Let me go back even further. That you had Dougie Fresh. You had a Dougie Fresh that came along and taught the world what entertainment really was. I want to walk in those footsteps, you know. Salute to Dougie Fresh, my mentor, my Yoda. Salute to Doug. I want to walk in those footsteps, you know, and be able to entertain people on a whole other level, man. You know,
I mean, even when you think about the West Coast, you think about Mixmaster Spade, you think about, like you mentioned earlier, Tony G, Julio G,
Julio G.
you know, Dr.
How about
Dre, DJ Quick,
Uncle Jam's,
Uncle Jam's Army.
Quick, the Battle Cat, Tony G. Salute to Tony G, Julio G. Salute to the Beat Junkies. Salute to like all of the, you know, J Rock, and salute to all of them. Salute to Icy Ice. Salute to man, all these guys that came along.
Wake Up Show.
Salute to Tech, man, and Sway, and all those guys. But you know, they paved the road that I feel like I'm riding down. And so I say thank you to all you know, you guys that paved the road that I'm literally honored to walk down right now. And I want to take the road even further, which is why I'm trying to give people lanes and help people get opportunities that they wouldn't normally get. You know what I mean? So,
you know what, man? Salute to you and all of the great work that you've done and continue to do, man. You know, like I said, I see you out here and I see you up there clowning people with, you know, we fall down and doing all of the theatrics that you do. That's why I make sure I'm on my P's and Q's when I'm around you. I don't want to be the next victim on that DJ screen. So
no. But you know something else. I'll give you a little hint into the immediate future. What I'm doing, I'm putting an album out for sure. I'm putting a project out. Like I said, first single called Good Vibes featuring AD. Salute to the Compton homie. Compton and Long Beach together. Now you know you in trouble. That's all I'm gonna say. So Good Vibes will be the first single that comes out. But I'm doing that project. Also, I'm starting a interview series where, you know, I'm approaching the comedic side of who I am and my personality, and you know, interviewing some comedians, some actors, and some celebrities as well. Having some really, really hilarious conversations. That's coming up as well. You know, there is, I can't really speak. Some other really good things coming as well, man. Really, really great things. So you could definitely be on the lookout for some good things coming.
Well, you know what, man? I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join me here on the NH Experience. Please let everyone know where they can continue to find you and all of your great work, man.
Oh man, you can hit me anywhere at Big Booties and Thoughts 69. No, I'm just joking. I was joking. At DJ Malski, DJ Malski everywhere. On Twitter is different. At DJ Malski LA on Twitter. I was about to say something silly, but I don't even want that on your. I don't even want all of that on your broadcast. But
I appreciate it, man. I'm trying to keep these checks coming in as much as I can. I ain't on your level yet.
I'm about to message you now, but go ahead, bro. Man, salute to you, all the work you're doing, the hard work. I remember when. I can say that I remember when. When you said, I'm going to, and you did. That's a big deal, man. So salute to you, and salute to the people that actually do what they said they're going to do. Because you said, I'm going to do this. And then guess what? A year later, guess what you were doing? That. And then still that, Mike. Salute to you and the people that actually do what they said they're going to do, man.
Absolutely. You know, absolutely. Hey, man, grace of God, hard work, and dedication.
That's it. And some Hennessy and some, I'm just joking.
And some fries and Kool-Aid.
And some fries and Kool-Aid and some pizza crust and some, no, I'm joking. But yeah, man, appreciate you. Salute to you. and everything you got going on. Make sure, if you were listening to this right now, just support my brother Nick Hamilton, man. So appreciate you,
you, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother. Appreciate you, man. Salute.